Welcome back, brothers and sisters. Thank y'all for tuning in. Uh, this is part two of an ongoing series that I'm going to be doing on September 23, and I still may even be talking about it after the 23rd because this is an ongoing natural celestial event that we haven't been taught. And we're talking about September 23 today with 23 people watching right now. And I think that's something special. You know, I want to say something, and I want to hop right into this. I don't want to waste none of y'all time today. Me having so much to go over, I really just want to get right into it. And by the way, let me just say, man, I love y'all. And I'm going to be doing some streams here in the future where I'm going to open up the panel and interact with the chat. But right now, I just got to drop a hell of a lot of information on y'all about this event. So let me go ahead and get right into it so I don't, waste none of your time. I see people got questions out there. I'm going to pretty much answer every question you got because I have so much information. So just bear with me and hold out with the questions because I'm going to have a whole nother stream just for Q&A about all of this stuff and anything else. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. September 23rd, everyone is saying to be Doomsday. But what is really happening on September 23rd? Let's go over it. All right. I'm just loading up my, hold on. Got a couple of links I want to open. And then I'm going to begin. And I hope everybody doing all right. Okay. Now, it's something we want to pay attention to real quick. Oh, man, now I get a black screen. Come on, NASA, quit messing with me. There we go. All right. So this is a chart that shows the moon phases for the month of September. And the days we're going to be looking at are from the 20th to the 23rd. This is a 3-day event. And that's something you want to pop in your head because when you talk about Jesus rising in 3 days, this is all astrotheology. You have a lot of teachers out here that say they into astrotheology. They should be all over top of this. They should be all on top of this. All of the resurrection stories are talking about this event, and all of the return stories are talking about this event. All of the events you see in mythology and religion that's centered around messiahs dying and resurrecting and coming back and leaving, it's because this event, it comes and goes just like the messiahs you read about. And when you start talking about these stories, you can sync it up to these celestial events. And one way you can do it in this case before we get into those moon phases. Hey guys, bear with me because we're going to be thorough. So let's talk about this and what the sky is actually going to look like. I've been showing this thing. You're familiar with this if you saw the first one. LV are two very important alphabets. You need to start looking at them as sigils. They are angles. And Leo and Virgo is what we're talking about in this case. But we don't want to forget Draco. But really, when we talk about the astrotheological aspect dealing with these messiahs, I'm focusing on Leo right now and Virgo because Leo is Jesus. That is known as the Lion of Judah. And you see that Leo will be in conjunction with Virgo. This is symbolic of Jesus being born. And this whole event that's going on the 23rd is, as you can read, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun. If you look at Virgo here, she's clothed with the sun. All right. When you think of a solar eclipse, you think of that black womb, that black hole clothed with the sun. The sun, when you think of that darkness you see in Kemetic cosmology, how Nut is enclosed over Geb, that is because the night sky is the most high, and the sun in the sky, put it this way, during a bright day, if you travel upwards, you'll get so high above the sun that it'll be nighttime again. So the darkness is the most high. But why am I saying this? I'm saying this because that darkness that's behind the stars never can come in front of the stars. In other words, the stars and the luminaries, moon and sun, can never go behind that darkness. That's actually the background or the foundation to all our reality. Like I explained in the previous video, how we got to blink and we got to sleep and we got to die and be reborn, because we have to be recharged in that darkness, or what they call in dark matter, dark energy. You know, that's really the foundation of all things. That's really the primordial sea. It's pure silence, it's stillness, and it's from where, put it this way, that darkness is equivalent. And listen, let me take y'all to darkness for a minute. That darkness is equivalent to stillness. It's equivalent to silence. So just like everything has an equal or another version of itself, darkness is equivalent to stillness and silence. But when we talk silence, it don't mean a lack of sound. It just means the most subtle sound in the cosmos, the whispering of the Most High, which is so silent it's just a pure thought. So understand, your thoughts are the most subtle whispers, and light don't even travel faster than thought. So I have to take you here before we get into the deepness of this video. So the night sky is the most high, but what happens during a solar eclipse is that night sky actually is clothed in the sun. So what you see in a solar eclipse is the darkness from above actually being surrounded by the corona of the sun. And this is when it's a reversal. This is when, you know, it's hard to explain. This is sort of this is balance of me saying, hey, red and green, and sometimes green and red, outside in, inside out. So during the solar eclipse, the light actually encloses the darkness. And this is like a breath, a cosmic breath, a changing of, you know what I mean? A changing of energy, as many ancients call it. But how does it relate to this? Because this is not an eclipse. This is an alignment. But what you see during the eclipse is would be like a microcosm of what we're going to see on the 23rd. And what we're going to see on the 23rd is nothing new. It has happened plenty times in history. In fact, it happened back in 1999, and they thought that the Gregorian calendar was going to end then. And a lot of people said that the Gregorian calendar actually ended with the Y2K. The whole Y2K thing was them saying that they didn't know how the time was going to reset. If you understand how the clock, how the calendar and the time system worked, it was some type of mumbo jumbo they gave you with Y2K, where they said that the year 2000, they didn't have a way to keep time in their little computer system for 2000. They said that it would equal the computer wouldn't have been able to notice the 00s from 1900 or dates like that, so to speak. I know it's deeper than that, and plenty theories of what was the Y2K all about. Everybody back in the year 1999 we was scared. We was thinking the world was going to end in the year 2000 because of this time thing. So how can the world end based on a year changing? That's what I'm telling you. If you didn't check out my first video, I really want y'all to look at them and be thorough with them. I know I can be long-winded and I can bounce all over the place, but please check it out. Why do we get all of this in the world talk that comes with certain years? It's very simple. Their calendar and the days and numbers on their calendar, meaning the Gregorian calendar, was made to support this new world order, which is founded on heliocentrism. But the globe has movement. The globe that they gave us, you flat earthers out there, we know it's not spinning. We know the earth is flat. But the globe they gave us, what we starting to find out now is that the Gregorian calendar can be looked at as an itinerary or sort of a schedule for this heliocentric globe and where it's going to be at any given time, and even how they're able to make these predictions that the ancients made with their heliocentric system and still be accurate even though the time is off. Think about what I'm telling you, people. It's year 2017 right now, and they are able to make predictions. Now we know the year is not 2000. We know the earth is older than 2,000 years. We know they screwed up the time. But if they screwed up the time, how are they still able to make predictions on a calendar that's false? We know it's not 2017. We know that the calendar, the Gregorian calendar, is inaccurate. But they're still able to make predictions, and these predictions come true when they say they're going to come true on their inaccurate, bogus calendar. What's going on? And why was the world going to end in 1999? You see, the Gregorian calendar and a heliocentric lie wasn't made to last long. In fact, the people who created the lie also embedded it in their religious texts, because you got to think about something here. Let me go into this. It's not just the globe. Just like you just can't have a gun and make the gun be effective. You have to have a gun, a shooter, and then you have to have some bullets inside of the gun. And if you don't got all three, then the gun is useless. You can have an empty gun and nobody holding it, then hey, it's just laying there. It's a vanity. But when you pick the gun up and put the bullets in it, these are the additional things that's needed to make the gun effective. So why am I bringing up the scenario with the gun? Because the globe and the Bibles and the religions of the world religions and the heliocentric cosmology are like the gun and the bullet. And the shooter, the person that's aiming that gun and the bullet, are the spokespeople that are advocates for this big religious web and cocktail, because Christians are Muslims, Muslims are Christians. Both of those were founded on a form of Buddhism that was a watered down form of Hinduism, and Hinduism was kind of a watered down form of Jainism or something like that. And when you go all the way back, even Jainism, you find that the earliest religion was no religion. And that's when we had spirituality. The world is not a spiritual place today because it's a religious place today. It's a place that's founded with doctrines. A place where the doctrine rule and the facts and the truth don't mean a doggone thing. It's the doctrines. Because when we talk doctrine, we talk memory. You weren't taught, you were trained. That's why everyone regurgitates and no one does the scientific method. Now, why was the world going to end in Y2K? And why do so many would even argue with me and say, Brother Sanchez, the world did end in year 2000. Some people may be confused. They say, if the world ended, why are you still talking? How am I still here? And I actually uploaded a video onto my Facebook called September 23rd is not Doomsday, but the world will end. And you got to get this concept of the world ending in your mind as not doomsday. There's a difference between the end of the world and doomsday. They're so different, and I'm going to shed light on it today. The end of the world is basically a key word or covert way to say the end of the new world. What's the new world? The new world order. The new world is the opposite of the old world when men weren't dictating nature and playing God. So when we say the end of the world is happening on the 23rd, that's what's going to happen. It's the end of their Gregorian calendar, because what this alignment is going to prove. Now, and just like you see on the screen here, this alignment has happened plenty of times before. This isn't the first time. Now, throughout history, how heliocentrists have made us ignore this alignment is by concepts like Nibiru. So now we must talk about that, and let me grab that for you. I encourage all of you, if you haven't saw my video on Nibiru, brosancheztv, you need to check that out. Because Nibiru is a fake planet that NASA created. And in fact, what you're seeing now is propaganda that came out in the year 2012. Matter of fact, I think they made a movie. And I'm going to show y'all how old this deception is and how everybody talking about the world end. We've been doing this stuff for so many years. It's like a skipping a record. You ever had a CD that's skipping, or somebody that repeat themselves too much? It becomes annoying, don't it? But yet we still fall for it all the time. We said the world was going in 2000. It didn't happen. They said the world was going in 2005, I believe. It did not happen. Now, they said the world was going in, you know, it was so many times. I know I'm skipping a lot of them. But it was a famous movie, as you can see here, called 2012, where we were saying the same dumb crap that we saying today. The world going to end and blah, 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 blah. So what is all this end of the world talk? Nothing is going to happen to the earth. What you're seeing on this picture is what's called doomsday. But doomsday is when the entire earth is destroyed. The end of the world is the end of the new world order system. Now, the whole doomsday and why it's linked to the end of the world, which is the end of the new world order, is because the people who created the new world order, they offspring are ruling the world today. But the new world order system wasn't created to last forever. It was made to come into a certain area of our earth plane and hijack a certain group of people, sort of like the Truman Show, the Antarctic Treaty and all of that. It's finna start going away within the next 7 years. A lot of things is going to start happening within the next 7 years. And it starts from the month of September, because September is Septos. You have to understand numerology to see the language they're speaking. And let me get this back up here for you. So September is Septos. This is really the end of what we can say a celestial year. This is the ending of a great age on a celestial scale. And for those who don't want to take that, it's because they're indoctrinated. They will say, how is this the end? Next month going to be October, bro Sanchez. According to who? Not the ancients' calendar. We have been living by the beast calendar, for lack of better words. This beast is the powers that be. He have a time system that you've been under. You think you are the age that you are, but we're younger. We're younger. There's not 365 days in a year. It's 360. It's a perfect circle. So how old are you? How old would you be if Julius and Augustus wouldn't have added the months July and August? There used to be a 10-month calendar. And I will be researching that 10-month calendar, because just because there was a 10-month calendar don't mean that there's 10 months, because we know that the months are linked to the zodiac. But the zodiac can be perceived in many different ways. You can look up at those stars and you could come up with different shapes, y'all, than what you see in this picture. Virgo can be something else to you. Leo can shape like a rabbit. It don't have to be a line to you, and you may call it rabbit. In fact, when you look at the Chinese zodiac and when you look at the Kemetic zodiac, you get different creatures, all right, but in the same locations, because for the most part, we go off of the first zodiacs of the ancients and we manipulate them and we give different deities to the constellations, and this is how you create a matrix. In the ancient world, mythology was science, and this is the connection we're not making. Let me say that again. In the ancient world, mythology was not separate from science. So when they talked about science, they also talked about deities, because the ancestors knew that there was an intelligence behind creation. So when they went into their scientific research, they didn't just ignore the creator like we do today. You see, we're lacking something in our scientific method, and that's an acknowledgement of the Most High. When you attempt to decipher the mysteries of the creation without acknowledging the creator, then the mysteries of it all will never be revealed to you. This is why we can't make sense out of our reality today, and the science we get don't align with what we see every day. But the people who give us this science is not giving us real science, it's scientism, and it's to control you. So I say to you again that any society or groups of people that set out to unlock the secrets of the creation without acknowledging the creator, you're already doomed from the start. You're just using a bunch of numbers to prove what? That God don't exist? How do you decipher the mysteries of the creation without even acknowledging the fact that it was created by an intelligence? This is the main thing missing in your science, because you have a science that's void of light, void of truth. And this is the definition of indoctrination, something you believe in, but you can never know. And it's the things that you know that will affect you positively. The things that you believe are what you're stuck with. Beliefs that you don't either try to prove or disprove becomes belief systems and indoctrination. It's okay to have beliefs, but you have to take them to the next level. So a lot of people believe that the earth is going to end, or the world is going to end on the 23rd. That's a belief. But what's a fact is that this is something that's always happened. I call it personally the Great Alignment. That's what I call it, the Great Alignment. Mostly all of those luminaries above your head will be in alignment and conjunction with each other. And all of the biblical mythologies and ancient mythologies, you will actually get to see what they was talking about in the sky. When you read the book of Revelation and it say in the end time, the end of the world, you think about the Bible, they tell you it's a prophetic book. It starts in Genesis telling you how the earth was created. And in the middle and throughout the book, you have so-called prophecies taking place. And at the end, it tells you after this book, there will be no more. When you shut the Bible, that time is equivalent to the world ending. Now, this is what you got to understand. Is the Bible prophetic? No, it is not. The Bible seems prophetic, but when you think about it, what the Bible prophesies is everything that the ancients prophesied. Are they all prophetic? No. Am I a prophet if I tell you that next year there's going to be summer again? No, because summer comes every year. But there are some events on our earth that don't come every year. They come like every couple of generations. And if I start making a prediction right now in our generation that we didn't know about, that's to take place well after my death, well, after I die and my prediction come true, people are going to deem me a prophet. They're going to give me the same reverence that they give the biblical prophets. Only none of us are prophets. There are men who watch the stars and study the stars, and they can tell you when the next alignment going to be 300 years from now. They can tell you what the people on the earth was doing during that last alignment, and more than likely will be doing the same thing during this alignment. In other words, there's nothing new under the sun. And if that's true, then there are no real prophets. I repeat, If there's nothing new under the sun, then there can't be any real prophets. The biblical people that are getting the world in the hysteria right now, they're actually going against their own book, because the book of Revelation tell you that no man, I mean no man, will know the time and day when the second return of the Christ. It tells you no man will know this, yet there are many men trying to give you an accurate date of the 23rd, but what they're giving you, since the Bible say no man know when Christ gonna return, you're not gonna see Jesus come in the sky on the 23rd. You're gonna see Leo. You're going to see Leo the lion, like you see in this collage, appear. This is when Jesus is going to return. It's not going to be a literal guy coming in the sky. It's literally this alignment that's taking place. And like I told you, this is a 3-day alignment. So this 3-day is very significant. We know Jesus rose again on the 3rd day. They was talking about the Christ returning then. They're talking about Christ returning now because the same reason this alignment has always been happening. The Christ always return and leaves, but it's not some blonde hair, blue-eyed dude on a cloud. It's literally this alignment. It's the Christ returning, and it's going to return again in another couple of years after this one. And people going to be saying the world ending, Jesus coming back. We're like a broken record. When will we get our heads out of the sand and see what the ancients was trying to tell us? Instead of every time this beautiful alignment happening, we think that the earth is going to be destroyed. Now, what is this whole thing about the world ending? The people who wrote the Bible is, like I told you, coincides with the Gregorian calendar, and it coincides with the movement of the heliocentric globe. The people that created the globe, it was created in Genesis. That's the Big Bang in heliocentrism. Gravity is what set their universe in motion, and their God is essentially a force called gravity, which is not a fact, it's a theory, and theory is God, because theos mean God. So if your universe, movement is life. Keep that in mind. Movement is life. So if gravity is responsible for the movement of your universe, gravity is what gives it life. And that G is really God, is not gravity. But when you have a science that don't acknowledge God, there's room for doomsday talk and dialogue that alienates us from nature. Like I said, you don't have any fears when you walk in Walmart that the store gonna collapse on you, but you walk outside and think doomsday gonna happen, because man has convinced you he's smarter than the Most High. And man has told this lie over and over again to hide the perfection of the Most High. And what am I telling you is that this equinox and this alignment shows the perfection of the Most High. It shows that this can't be a universe that's whirling around a void of darkness with things that's just clashing into each other, and that they're going reckless. Because if that was so, we wouldn't have perfect alignments that we're about to see on the 23rd. And this is not the first time we're seeing it. This perfect alignment has happened throughout generations. And not only that, that proves that the sky haven't changed for hundreds of thousands of years. This would not be possible on a globe. It also proves a lot when you put in your mind that there's a temple on every continent dedicated to this great celestial event. And all of those temples align themselves with this alignment every time it happens. This will be the nail in the coffin for the globe, because there's no way this alignment can take place on every temple that's on every continent, and all of these temples are aligned to the same celestial event on every continent. If we were on a globe, that would be impossible. That's only possible on a flat earth. And this is going to prove flat earth without a shadow of a doubt. This is why this is synonymous with the end of the world. It's the end of the globe. It's the end of the heliocentric lie. There's a reason why the flat earth truth has arisen at this time. And this is the climax of everything we've done in the flat earth community. It is the beginning of their end on the 23rd. No, on the 23rd, there's not going to be no great earthquake and big events, and you know that there's not going to be flat earthers that take over the government. No, I'm not saying all of that. I'm saying on the 23rd, there's the dialogue on the earth is going to change. On the 23rd, the questions that flat earthers have been asking for years, most of the time in earth are going to be asking these same questions starting from that date as we move forward and go into this so-called 7-year tribulation thing. This is the mark of it. They're counting in sevens, and September is Septos. This is the end of the Gregorian calendar. So essentially, October 10 is 1. We're starting over at 1 again. So October would be 10 or 10. So what we got to realize is that September is 9, but Septos mean 7. October is the 10th month, but if you want to look at octo meaning 8, right, like an octagon, 8 symbolizes renewal, rebirth. So October next month is like a new Genesis, a new calendar, a new time system. Is the calendar's going to change? No, it's still going to be October 1st when October 1st comes. But what we're going to be seeing over the next 7 years is things that are very out of whack when we go to link certain celestial events to the Gregorian calendar and to so-called placements of the earth in their heliocentric cosmology. And the first day of that will be on the 23rd. People are going to be asking questions because this is going to be like how they say in Revelation, every eye is going to see Jesus and every knee going to bow. No matter where you at on the earth, you all going to see him. Well, during the eclipse, we all saw the eclipse. I mean to say during the eclipse, we all couldn't see the eclipse. So that wasn't a real good argument to convince the entire earth that it's flat. Well, what's going to happen on the 23rd is a celestial event that's, according to the ancestors, is the most powerful and important celestial event known to mankind. This celestial event will be witnessed all over the earth. Unlike an eclipse that just passed, you can only see that eclipse in a local location. What's going to happen on the 23rd, they're not going to be able to explain. This is why they're going to have to rush and try to kill a lot of us and exterminate a lot of us. Now, according to a lot of experts, they say from the 23rd, from this year over the next 5 years, we're going to be seeing, excuse me. So from 2017 or September 2017 to September 2020, all right, we're going to be seeing a lot of celestial events that has always happened, but we haven't always acknowledged. And the reason we haven't always acknowledged because how they explain this stuff away. And if you think about it, it's a 5-year period. In 5 years, it'll be 2020. So they said they had to reduce the earth population before year 2020 because they knew during this time they wouldn't be able to explain a lot of the stuff we're going to see. They wasn't equipped. Their children who inherited their lie and ruled us by this heliocentric lie, the globe goes along with all the world religions. And all of the world religions are synced to the Gregorian calendar. Have you ever thought about that? The Muslims are synced to the Gregorian calendar. The Buddhists even are synced to the Gregorian calendar. They might not call it the calendar of Pope Gregory, but when we're having Christmas, they're having Hanukkah. And everyone celebrate their pagan holidays at the same time because we've been under the New World Order. They're just trying to make one world currency and one world police system because the New World Order is still a work in progress. They finding out that they're running out of time, and if they haven't finished that work in progress by now, it's not going to be finished. So if you look at the book of Revelation, it tells you the devil know when his time is up, and since he know that, he going to start causing mayhem. Their mentality is, if I can no longer rule over you, then we'll just exterminate a lot of you so we can have a controllable population. They can control billions if there's billions indoctrinated with their lie. But what happens when those billions who's indoctrinated with your lie now begin to question your lie? When the majority of those numbers go on a couple of years of of undoing your lie and challenging it. That has never happened before. The New World Order that we've been under for the past 7,000 years, it has never been challenged before. The flat earth movement and the truth movement, conscious movement that has been taking place even before the flat earth movement came back. You know, that was a truth movement. It's always been a conscious community. That was the beginning of challenging the New World Order. This crowd that has risen to challenge this system hasn't always been. The world just came into a rebellious age. We are the children that has witnessed the deception of the powers that be. We're the ones that came to wreak havoc on the system. They know that our generation is the fighter generation. This is why so much mayhem taking place at our time. We are the ones that the ancestors knew would end the system, because during our time, a lot of those celestial events would come back again. The globe has had a lot of years to maintain itself because they was very smart at hiding certain celestial events. But what's going to happen now, this great alignment, like I said, it has happened. It's a normal alignment. But what make this one so special is the eclipses that's accompanying this alignment, and that it's occurring during the autumn equinox. And also the Gregorian calendar really don't have any more explanations and ways to map out the movement of the stars and deceive us after this date. They're going to find a lot of error and trial and tribulation and trying to deceive us with that system now, because the future events that's going to take place is going to be very, very hard to explain now with the heliocentric system and the globe. It's really, we've reached the end, the beginning of the end of the globe. So October is 8, and 8 means renewal or rebirth. And this alignment that's going to be taking place on the 23rd symbolizes rebirth. Now this alignment is the beginning of what's in the biblical Zion, when the old world is thrown away and the new world rolls out like a scroll, the New Jerusalem. Well, that's what's happening now. And it's a 3-day period, like I said, because Jesus rose on the 3rd day. So we're going to continue to get some more information here. And what we want to keep in mind is that September 11 happened 16 years ago. And 16 in numerology equals out to be 7. So like I told you, 7 is the lucky number. They're counting in sevens. And not only that, 7 is a hieroglyph that means L or V. And the V and the L are angles. So when they say that the angels are coming in the sky with Jesus during this time, they're telling you that the angels are the actual 90-degree angles, the alphabets L and V. You know, every alphabet has a word with it. We say A, but A is really alpha. We say B, but B is really beta. We just abbreviate it. The alphabets are basically abbreviations. So when you look at L and V, you can look at these abbreviated as Leo and Virgo. The constellations, you know, you can look at these constellations of Leo and Virgo as L and V, and both of those are angles. The L is an angle and the V is an angle. And if you look at these angles, they are surrounding the sun. So Leo represents Jesus. But don't let it confuse you, because the sun also represents Jesus. So these are one and the same. But you see that the sun is in the middle of Leo, and Virgo symbolizes Jesus coming back, or Jesus being born again. Because when you look at the creation story of Jesus, the Virgin Mary gave birth to Jesus, but it's basically a reincarnation of one that came before Jesus. They even tell you that later in the Bible, that Jesus is actually a reincarnation of John the Baptist or one of the saints of old. So it's this same deity that they keep on reincarnating in different generations. So in previous generations, Jesus would have been Zeus or Serapis. And it ain't that we were in different constellations in different part of the universe. It was that it was the same constellations, but when you go back in history, these same constellations had different names. And this is how they create the heliocentric deception, telling you that, hey, it was different constellations back then, and the constellations we got now are different than the ancestors, and we able to make the same predictions that they made, but the constellations different. It don't make any sense, y'all. We are being bamboozled. If they had different constellations than us, how did they have this same alignment as us? And you can see the same constellations in the ancient world, and they're the same shapes, but it's just different names and different creatures. Like I said, Leo don't have to be a lion, and the sun don't have to be Jesus. In fact, the sun to some is Krishna, and Leo is a different creature in some cultures, but they're saying the same thing. And what they did was they got us out of the old world, and when they created the new world, they made this whole alignment be centered around man-made deities. That's why it's so much confusion in the world today. Every time this event happened, people say the world gonna end because they don't know the truth of the old world. The ancients knew that this was a time of renewal, a time for you to get your spirit together. And I'm going to be doing videos and going into a lot of things that the ancients did during this time. This is a time of celebration. This is a time called Mabon. This is the end of their deception. This is a time where the great mother is showing you she is still balancing the scales, and there is no cataclysms. So they knew that their heliocentric deception was only good for so long, because there's celestial events that's going to come about, like the one on the 23rd, that's going to prove, man, that there's no way possible we can be on a globe. And since they can't explain a lot of this stuff, they're just going to be distracting us by killing millions of us, displacing thousands of us. The hurricanes are just a beginning. So they actually are bringing the book of Revelation to life because they are in power. The Bible is a plan book that was left to them by their forefathers what to do. It was telling them ancient prophecies of celestial events that the ancestors knew. So the Bible isn't nothing special. And I'm using the Bible because it's the one that everyone is linking the Doomsday scenario with. Because like I said, since we don't know the truth about this great alignment according to the ancestors, we make the mistake of going with the mythological version. You see, the mythological talk about Jesus returning is just a personified story of what's literally going to happen in the heavens. But if you don't know the truth about what's happening in the heavens, you will be watching TV, eating popcorn, not knowing on the 23rd that the greatest alignment of your life is happening. Plenty of people don't even know that. You got plenty of people who in love with Egypt but don't know that the pyramids of Giza is going to be aligned with Orion for the first time in a long time. Well, it actually happened about 10 years ago. Couple of years ago. Don't misquote me. But it hasn't happened in a long time where we known it. It's been happening in our lifetime, and that's been telling us that's just Nibiru, and it has a bunch of planetary bodies with it, but it never crashed into Earth. You look up, and it's a beautiful alignment, and it's kind of scary because they don't listen. When the ancestors looked up at this alignment, it showed them that there was an intelligence that was perfect. There's no way you can have this perfect alignment reoccurring in the universe of heliocentrism that they give you of such imperfection. There's no way what can happen on the 23rd can be a reoccurring phenomena that's so perfect and balanced. This is also what's called the day the earth stands still, because during this time the ancestors say the winds of the earth stop blowing, and it seems that when I say the earth standing still, we know that that's propaganda that globalists give us because they think they're moving on a globe and that the earth is spinning. And they had a movie called The Day the Earth Stands Still. And this is the day that they're talking about what the ancients were speaking about. And it appears that the earth is moving, but the stars is really the only thing moving. We all know that. I'm just saying it for the record. But it's called a day the earth stands still, because even flat earthers are going to feel stillness on this day. You see, we've been looking up at the night sky for so many years and seeing the movement of the luminaries, and we have a sense of movement. But what's going to happen on the 23rd when all of these luminaries align themselves? The sense of movement is going to go away, because when they're all aligned and you looking at them in a straight line, it's a weird thing. It feels like it's stillness on the earth, as if the stars just stop moving. So when they talk about Jesus coming back and he's going to be surrounded by the angels, it's that the sun is surrounded by Leo and Virgo, which is LV, Louis Vuitton. Remember, LV is the elves. When you spell out L, it's EL, and V is VEE or VE. And LV is really elf or the dwarfs. Why is this important? Because these were the original disciples that traveled with the Messiah. And they are the thieves that's always surrounding him on the cross. And they are the disciples that's surrounding him when he's walking the earth performing his deeds. And this thing about the sun always being surrounded, it's no different than what you're looking at right here in this chart. Leo means Jesus. Leo is in the middle of this alignment. You're looking at the bottom portion of this alignment. What would be, I have a bigger layout. I'm going to try to find it for you at some point here, and we'll go deeper in it. But above Leo is Draco. That's the head of the dragon. The moon is the tail of the dragon. The Virgo is the bottom of this whole alignment, and it's the moon. And that's because Nut is the end of the cosmos, the night sky, the anchor. It's the Ankh, the female uterus, the female body. It's the end all be all, meaning the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and end, because there's a star that's going to be visible that they're calling the Biru. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find this. I want you guys to see the alignment with Draco. You need to see where Draco is, because the whole thing about the dragon returning when Christ returned is for these reasons. Leo returns and aligns with Draco. You're going to see this in the sky. Let me do this. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for spreading the information. So, which one? I don't want to give you one that's all over the place. It's like I had a bigger one that shows Virgo, Leo, and above Leo is supposed to be. Okay, hold on. Hey guys, thanks for being patient, bearing with me, because when we do these live, you have to access certain things, and yeah, thank you for being patient. I tell you what, I know I got some slides that I'm supposed to go over anyway with y'all that's going to show that. So what I'm going to do is just get into some of those, and we'll work our way back. But what you're looking at, let me show you something. If you look at this, right? Maybe this is it. Okay, well, we'll go with this. Somebody had the full alignment, and I just can't find it. I know it's more than Leo and Virgo. I think above Virgo there's Draco that's going to be aligning too. But if I'm wrong, somebody correct me, because yes, I'm right. So here it is right here. You see Draco right here. This is actually flipped. It's supposed to be Leo on the left, and we're working our way up to Draco there on the right. But either way, you can look at it either way. We know what we're looking at here. And this whole alignment, you're going to have Leo, Virgo, Draco. And this is the whole talk in Revelation. Leo is Jesus. Virgo is the great whore. And Draco is the great red dragon. All of these creatures in Revelation are just these three constellations that are going to be aligning themselves just like they did in the book of Revelation. And the book of Revelation means to reveal. Because every time these three constellations appear in the sky, there's a consciousness movement. People start asking questions about the globe and the earth. This flat earth movement we're in today is not new. It has died and awakened several times based on celestial events. And this is going to be the events of all events, where people are going to say, hey man, the flat earthers, you know, a lot of people who are stubborn globalists are going to be coming to their senses on this event. And this is why this event ends in the Bible. After the book of Revelation, the book closes, because the people who prophesied this event in our generation are the creators of the New World Order. And what they put inside of the mythology with the event in our generation is doomsday talk. So it's a terrible time for them. And we all know them being such devils. If it's the end of their system, what they ruled on it for the past 7,000 years, they're not just going to let it go away without a fight. They're not just going to let all of these celestial events take place and we keep asking questions, and all of these questions that they're not prepared to answer. Okay, when the mob can't pay you, they just kill you. And this is what we're under. When they can't answer this stuff, they're just going to have to silence you with Kanika Jenkins, or silence you with Hurricane Jose, silence you with a man-made cataclysm, silence you with North Korean war. So we see that the people who tried to hide this event from us, they wrote the Bible. And then the Bible was a book that really separated the masses, created what's called Jews and Gentiles, great men and non-great men. It's a book full of ego because it's ruled by men who recreated the world. That's why it starts in Genesis. The world has never started and the world has never ending. No one knows the beginning or end to the earth. It has just simply always been, as far as you know, but it has always been destroyed and recreated in mythology. So the Bible you were indoctrinated with put you under a spell called the ghost spell, which became the gospel. The gospel is the ghost spell, and it's literally the ghost of all of the rulers who ruled, all of the popes that rule in heliocentrism. The Pope is the equivalent of Jesus in the Bible, but the Christians don't know that Jesus don't exist and that they're literally worshiping the Pope. Back in the day that when there was no popes, there were Caesars, and even at some point there were simply lords. So just like we have presidents today, the pharaoh was the equivalent of the president in Egyptian time when they was carrying out this same indoctrination we're under. It's sun worship. It creates the illusion of cataclysm. It creates the illusion of time. But when the earth stands still on the 23rd, the clock is going to be still. Everyone's going to have a moment to see the perfection of this creation. So it's the end of their world, and their book ends. Their prophecy ends here. After this date, not again in our lifetime, I don't think, will Jesus return with the dragon and the great whore. This is why the book closes out the Revelation, because it opens again at Genesis, because no one's going to be around to say, hey, that this alignment is just the stars. When our generation die, they're going to reopen the book if we didn't change. We're in a time of resetting. The calendar's being reset. Time is essentially stopping now. When I say the clock is being reset, it's going to be signified by this alignment. Just like when you look at a clock on a wall, the hour hand and the minute hand align themselves at 12 o'clock, or wherever they align themselves is 30 or half of the minute. We're at a halfway mark, and a halfway mark is balance, meaning 50-50. Yin yang is a symbol of half, split even, and that's how you get the word seven, because seven means severed, but not in a way where you're dividing something. Division is not separation. The people who manipulated the world taught us that division is separation, but division is divinity. It's wholeness. It's seeing the holisticness of things. It's when numbers merge with each other to become one. So you say 2 divided by 2 is 1, but we shouldn't use the word divided that way. You're not dividing. What are you doing? If you put 2 inside of 2, it's like a man going in a woman. Are they being divided? So division is really unity. And that's what we're going to see on the 23rd, a unity among the celestial luminaries. And it's not division, it's divinity, it's divine. If you look at the symbol for division, it's a dot aligned in a dot. That's as above, so below. That's actually the cosmos. That's actually the alignment that we're going to see taking place, because this alignment is centered around the sun or Jesus. That can be looked at as the event or the dot. Oh, but I'm sorry, not the dot, but the line in the middle of the event. The line is surrounded by dots, just like Leo and the sun is surrounded by Virgo and Draco, surrounded by the Virgin, the great whore, and the dragon, the great dragon. Just like Jesus was surrounded by the 2 thieves. These are the 2 thieves. These are also the angels that supposed to be accompanying and surrounding Jesus when he come back for the rapture on the clouds. Well, this is it. Jesus come back on the 23rd with the angels, but the angels of light are simply angels of light. You got to understand that mythology and science are one and the same. But since the people divided these subjects, you can't see holistically. But I'm trying to open your third eye so you can see. So in the ancient world, mythology was science. And in our world, science is separate from religion, or science is separate from mythology, which you can't really separate the two. This is why there's so much contradiction among science and mythology. You don't know the difference. Science tells you Earth was created by a big bang that started in darkness, and religion tells you Earth was created by someone cutting the light switch on in darkness, which is a form of an explosion. How are they different? It's all the religion of the New World Order telling you the same thing to different people, because not everyone's going to subscribe to Christianity. There's going to be some of us that want science, so they give you a synthetic science that's not real science. It's scientism, it's a religion. Real science is a verb. It's something you do, not something someone gives to you. Anything someone giving to you is indoctrination. Science is something you go outside to do, scientific method. And to acknowledge the creator of the creation would take your science to the next level. And that's why the ancients were more advanced than us. Even flat earthers make the mistake of just being all scientific and proving no curvature, no span, without proving the fact that there is an intelligent creator. If there's nothing else that can convince you that there's an intelligent creator that has this earth under control, and that there's an intelligent creator that's got this all under control, if there's nothing else that could convince you that, flat earth should be the thing to do it. When you think about flat earth and us being in the center of the cosmos, and you think about flat earth, and even when you, like I always say, let me show you here. Many of you familiar, when you think about flat earth, right? flat earth cosmology, for example, here's the Mayan cosmos. Now this is a model depiction trying to give you a miniature scale of an infinite realm. So keep that in mind. The ground you walking on has no recorded ends. So keep that in mind, but we can prove we are enclosed in a spherical dome, and all compasses point toward this sacred mountain. And this sacred mountain is the tree of life. And in other cultures, it's not a tree. It's a goddess with her hands raised. And if you look at the center of this thing, it's a pitchfork or a trident. This was given to the devil. They don't want you thinking about the center, because when you think about the center of the earth, you ask questions about the center of yourself. Where are we? What are we? Where are we? They don't want this. This is why they have treaties preventing you to travel to the North Pole. And when you ask questions about North Pole, you get Santa Claus stories. Remember, Santa Claus is surrounded by elves like Jesus is surrounded by angels and disciples. They're giving you the same deity that occupies the center of the earth in ancient cosmology. But when you go to ancient cosmology, they desecrate it by telling you that tree of life is the devil's pitchfork. That tree is the goddess with her arms raised. And if you keep it locked in your head, you can see here that tree looked like a human raising their arms. That's because it is. At the middle of the Egyptian flat earth, you have Shu raising his arms, representing the North Pole. In early cosmologies, you have a great mother raising her arms. And today you got Santa Claus at the North Pole, surrounded by elves and a bunch of dumb talk to hide the truth from you. Now, the 23rd is a special day for a lot of reasons. And okay, get this back going here. So I hope y'all thinking about how big this is. It's bad for them. It's the end of the new world, and time is basically we're under no time right now. The 23rd, the Gregorian clock stops. That's the end of the calendar, and the Bible closes. That's the end of Revelation. Because this the time of revealing, when people are going to start asking questions that's a threat to the New World Order based on the Great Mother working her magic in the stars above. The sky is speaking to its children. These people have been in between the inhabitants of the earth and the way we interpret what the sky is saying to us. They've been interpreting the language of the stars to you and ruling you by telling you the sky is falling on you. They've been ruling you by telling you that one day the stars are going to fall. This is what the book of Revelation tells you. It tells you that one day Nibiru is going to come and strike in the earth like they're talking now. But what's going to come is something they fear. We shouldn't fear, because they're scared. They want you scared. We should be happy, because nothing's going to, listen, any cataclysm that happened during this perfect alignment is going to be all their doings. They have been preparing to make this event line up with Revelation. But if you look all in the past, this event has been happening so many times, and it haven't been any cataclysms. The reason this is the important one is because, like I said, this one is happening during autumn equinox and the end of the Gregorian calendar. This one marks the start of many more celestial events that's going to be very difficult for them to explain. And it's going to be a series of celestial events, starting with this one that's going to take place over the next 5 years, preferably 2 years. And now it all makes sense why all of the talk came about when they used to say we got to decrease a lot of the earth population before the year 2020. The year 2020 is a very powerful date, saying that they're going to be getting rid of so many billions of people off the earth before that date, pretty much their deadline. And now I see why. Their deadline coincides with the end of the Gregorian calendar. This event is the marking of new time. That's why Octo next month symbolizes renewal. Octo is 8. Remember, 8 is the symbol of eternity. It's renewal. This is the beginning of the New Jerusalem. And it starts October 1st. But even then, I can't be sure when it starts or end, because many say it starts on the 23rd, which I would have to agree with, because Jesus is put to death on the cross on the 20th and rises again on the 23rd. And that's when he appeared in between Draco and Virgo. The great tomb of the Great Pyramid on the Giza Plateau would be aligned with Venus, symbolizing the rebirth of the Pharaoh or the rebirth of the king. The Pharaoh was equivalent to Jesus in ancient Kemet. He was worshipped as Lord. Today in our world, we worship Jesus, but Jesus is nothing but the Pope. They can't tell you worshiping the Pope, else you wouldn't do it. In the ancient world, people literally worship the Pharaoh, but over time there has been many consciousness awakening to where they have to compensate for these awakenings every time. So the Pharaoh just became the president, and instead of you worshiping the Pharaoh or the president, you worship the Pope, because the president is just a puppet. The real power is the Pope. He's who preside over the masses. He preside over geographic space, mental space, and spiritual space, occupying the depths of your soul and your ideologies through this indoctrination, by taking the story and the language of the stars and interpreting it through biblical texts and Qurans, which tells you these alignments are linked to cataclysm, when the ancients said these alignments were linked to renewal, rebirth, and this is symbolic of what's going to happen to you during the days of 20th and on forward. You need to have yourself in a balanced place and be comfortable with who you are, and don't go into this portal taking any type of, foreign energy. So in our time, we have this is an important time, because like I said, this marks the beginning of a period where questioning, the quest begins now. We've been stagnant in the past 7,000 years, and now the quest begins, because the questions are going to be questions we never even thought to ask. Since becoming a flat earther, I ask questions that I didn't even think to ask, and you start to value the question more than the answer, because if you don't ask the question, you don't get the answer, which means the question gives birth to the answer. And that's why it's so important to realize that the globe and heliocentrism stops the question by giving you the belief. When you accept the belief, your quest ends, because there's nothing else to do. When they tell you what's going on in the heavens, they say the earth is spinning, it's wobbling through space, we got it all under control, here's my theory of gravity, I painted a picture of the globe, and even though none of it makes sense, if you just believe it and don't question it, then you just accept the belief and indoctrination, and you stop right there. You go to work and punch the clock and live the rest of your life as a lifeless zombie who have no clue about their true reality, who's plugged in into the slave system, not knowing how great they really are and how special they really are, because you failed to do one thing: question the theories and the indoctrination that you were given. But why did you fail to question it? Because they gave it to you at an age where you didn't even know how to question. They gave it to you at an age when you were a little child, man, just as naive and innocent, so easily to be manipulated. So by the time you grow up with years of indoctrination, you see the stuff we're presenting now. We lose the indoctrination, but we find out there's still forms of indoctrination, and that knowing the ground is flat don't free us from the New World Order ideology. You can still be a heliocentric flat earther, because to be sun-centered has nothing to do with having your ideology based around the burning sun. Another version of sun worship is worshiping Jesus. You see, the S-U-N and the S-O-N are one and the same. We don't worship the man or the burning sun in the sky. We worship the womb, which is the portal by which the son and the daughter come from. All life come from the womb, and the womb is feminine. It don't have to be man or female. It's simply a feminine creation, because think about it. The ground is a womb. You put a seed in it, and all fruits and plants come from that womb that you walk upon. And this is why in a lot of ancient worlds, the earth is personified as a great womb and as mother goddesses such as Gaia. This is the time of Gaia that we're in, of restoration of the earth. The earth has been oppressed the past 7,000 years under the New World Order, and it was able to be oppressed because the people who would defend it stood by and did nothing because they were indoctrinated. Well, what's happening on the 23rd, those indoctrinated people will begin to ask questions that they never thought to ask. And it's these questions that's going to begin our quest into the New Jerusalem. Can I get a flat power? There's nothing to fear because truth is here. Put your fists up in the air and let me get a flat power. Truth ought to make you feel good. Hey, let me take a minute break, my beloved. And I will be right back with you guys to, I'm gonna make these some extensive topics in this series of videos, because, it's a lot of stuff to digest. And when I put it on video, you can always go back, replay them, and get it all. And I can't wait to end this series so I can give you all of this knowledge and put it down on a publication and just move on to talking to you guys, because I just miss talking to you. Over the past couple of days, I've been very serious in giving us the information and knowledge we're going to need as we move forward. So I'm going to continue to do that. And thank y'all for tuning in and sharing this. Hit the like button and share it. Put it on your Facebook wall, put it on your Twitter page, and give your brother like a 2-minute break. And I'll be right back. Thank y'all for staying with me, being patient, allowing me to sip a little water, hit a little herbs. Listen, guys, have no fears. Truth is here. All right, let's get back into this. All righty. I want to show y'all something very important. If I can. All right. All right, let's do this. All right. So earlier I showed you this is a moon phases calendar for September. This event is said to happen around the 19th until the 24th. I want to surround it so we be thorough. The dates for this great alignment is from the 20th to the 23rd. But to be thorough, let's say the 19th to 24th, be on the lookout. Be going outside tonight when it get dark. If you go outside tonight, you will be seeing the luminaries aligning right now. You can see them on their way to meeting up. So you want to be watching the sky over starting tonight, because they're not fully in a straight line yet, but you can look up and actually see all of these constellations coming together. They on their way, and at the 23rd, they'll be fully in alignment. So yesterday I was outside and I couldn't film the sky because my camera, I don't know how you film stars, but I just get complete blackness. I wanted to film it for you because I was outside last night and I can already see the sky getting ready for this great event. So you don't have to wait till the 23rd, brothers and sisters. Go outside every night and watch the sky up until the 23rd and even after, so you can see it forming and you can see it when it dissipates. You want to see the whole thing because it actually looks real heavenly, you know, just watching these bodies as they start to come and prepare for this alignment. So don't just go out on the 23rd and look at them when they align. Watch them coming together every night. You'll see them getting closer and closer. You'll see this alignment coming to be. All right. And it's going to really touch you, like it really did something for me on the 18th. I was outside, and I'm going to go out tonight too and look at the sky. And you're going to already see this thing coming into, you're going to see these constellations coming into be, man. For the first time, and I live in Nevada, last night I looked up at the sky and I saw all these constellations that I've been looking for years, all above my head. I live in Las Vegas. There's a lot of light pollution. We don't normally see stars, but these things appear to be so doggone close to us. It's like they're descending. And now I get why all of the religious texts that talk about this, they say that Jesus will be coming down to the earth, because all of these luminaries are going to be as bright as they ever been. We see Mars in the sky all the time. We see Neptune all the time. But on this date, they're going to appear bigger and closer. So this is them telling you that Nibiru is crashing into Earth with all of these bodies that it's traveling with. They was able to fake a perfect alignment, y'all, by giving us Nibiru. So what has happened throughout, see, you got to understand that Nibiru was created for the conscious community, because we're the ones that's their biggest threat. And slowly but surely the conscious community is waking up. And so they have to seed misinformation to us to hide these celestial events. Hold on. So they have to seed different stuff to hide this stuff, and they did a good job. I won't sit here and tell you they didn't do a good job. Nazi leader and the whole Nibiru Planet X deception. Look here, man. It's a good way to explain away a perfect natural alignment. Now I'm gonna show y'all something. I'm gonna show you Nibiru and satellites. Okay, I guess these are sort of pictures of what's supposed to be Nibiru with all of its occupying satellites. And this is the fake galaxy that was done NASA CGI for Zeta Reticuli. This is Orion's belt. The Great Pyramids at Giza will be aligned with Orion. This is all ties into this great alignment. The ancestors was telling us something. But what they was telling us was reinterpreted with misinformation as Nibiru coming to crash into Earth. Nibiru crashing to the Earth is equivalent to Jesus coming down causing destruction. He would be Nibiru. And remember, they said Nibiru, when it crashes into Earth, is going to be surrounded by all of its surrounding satellites. And they call it its Anunnaki spaceships. So Nibiru and its spaceships is the equivalent to Jesus and the angels coming back in the clouds, or Jesus and the disciples, or Santa and the elves. Okay. This great event, which is going to be taking place on the 23rd, is the embodiment of all world messiahs. This will prove that all of their stories, no matter what your messiah is linked to this alignment, and that these were not literal men walking earth, walking on water. This is why this time is linked to the New World Order and one world religion, because the powers that be knew that it's going to be hard for them to deceive us out of all of this. All of the religious people are going to be asking questions, because Christians are finding out, wow, Christ ain't returning. It's just a celestial event. Christians going to be having questions, y'all. Christians going to say, man, Christ ain't returning. It's literally this celestial event, because you can't disprove it. If Christ don't return on the 23rd, like Christians are saying, but this alignment happened, it proven that your God is belief and your God ain't proven, it's fake. But what is real is the creator that's moving them stars that we've been ignoring while we got our faces stuck in a book that's written by man talking about Christ coming back surrounded by angels, when it's nothing but Leo, the Lion of Judah, the Christ, and the Sun, which is surrounded by Virgo and Draco. All right. They telling you the truth, but they're misinterpreting the truth and talking above your head. They know how to decipher the myth. So when Christians catch on to this, they're going to have questions. When all of the globalists catch on to the fact that all of these temples are going to be lined up with this alignment, people going to start ask questions, starting from, this event as we move forward to the next couple of years in our future. Time as we know it is changing. The dialogue is going to be changing. What has been in the media lately? Flat earth talk. That has never happened. In the history of the mainstream media, they have never, ever, 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 ever mentioned flat earth until this time, when the past couple 2 years, I would say within 2 years ago, because they know the clock ticking, baby. Flat earthers are the ones that they fear, that's cracking the code. I am cracking the code. This is called a holy grail. This is called deciphering. This is called revealing that which was veiled. It was covered. A veil was put over it. So now I'm coming to reveal, take the veil off of it, so you can see clearly. I'm giving you a revelation, a revelation. So the book closes after the truth is revealed, because we then become free. The truth will set us free. So the Bible closes. It's the end, but it's a new Genesis, or a new Jerusalem, a new time. We don't have to even keep time, because we understand now time is an illusion. That this event has been taking place and reoccurring, and that we've been babbling on being a broken record, and that time is just man creation. This is why they say Mother Nature, Father Time. Father Time will be exposed on this day. Man, we play a great role, but Father Time was placed above Mother Nature. This is why the rulers of the Gregorian calendar's main job is to destroy and attack Mother Nature. You can't control Mother Nature and exalt yourself above Mother Nature without attacking her and everything that shows her perfect balance. without attacking the beautiful human body that shows the brilliance of this intelligent creator that we call Mother Nature. When you look at the brilliance of the human body, you can't deny Mother Nature. But when you pause in the human body and you fill it with vaccinations and you put the sky full of chemtrails and you pause in the water, then you could point the finger at Mother Nature, and you know what you can say? Look at what Mother Nature does. Mother Nature also makes you sick. Mother Nature not only heals, she make you sick as well. What if that's false? What if we're in heaven and we're the creators of hell? What if there was a perfect world where you did not get sick when no one tampered with your food? How would you ever know if you were never in that world? We talk about people that live for thousands of years. What if they died when they felt like it? When they just thought that it was time to have a new body or create a new world inside of their mind, because you can't create your own world and go there. You do it in the dream state. Our reality is going to be exposed for more than just a little blue ball floating around a dumb black void. And we're going to see that Earth is not a place, it's a realm. It's not a location. It simply is all there is. This entire cosmos is all there is. That's why it's called by them the universe, or the one plane. It's not a place, it's a realm. And you can look at it this way. When you dream, do you go to a place? When you're dreaming you're in Hawaii, are you really in Hawaii? No, you're not. Or are you? Did you catch a plane? No, you just closed your eyes and went there. So you mean to tell me you can travel in your sleep to other places? Yes, you can actually create these other places. Our minds are so powerful. We're going to start finding out who and what we are, but first, where we are. And that starts September 23rd. You see, the where was what they needed to hijack to control the what and the why. Once they hide from you where you are, you don't know what you are, why you are, how you are. The first thing really is the where. Think about it. When you came out of your mother's womb, the essential thing that the soul asks is, where am I? It don't care where it comes from. Where you are, there you are. Does it matter? You want to know where you are. That's the present. When someone is blindfolded and they are kidnapped, the number one question that they ask the kidnapper is, where am I? Where am I? They want to know where they are because they're blindfolded, and you taking them somewhere that when you take that blindfold off, they don't even know how to get free because they don't even know which direction to take off running in. This is why the kidnapped person who's blindfolded want to know, where am I? That's the number one question. And that where was hijacked by NASA. They told you you were on a blue ball in the middle of nothing. When they told you that, the next question one would ask is, well then, who created this? Such a creation. And after they tell you, well, it was God, and give you your different God that support this creation, your next question is, where is this God that created it? And many would tell you he sits outside of the universe, but the contradiction to that is they tell you there is no edge to the universe, and the universe is infinity, and they're telling you is there is no God in their universe. If God is outside of your universe and there is no outside to your universe, then there is no God. You see, this outside of the universe, which shows you where the creator is, we used to not ask this question when we had cosmologies like the one that you see now. As you can see, with a cosmology like this, if someone asks you, who created those stars in the sky and all of us? The ancestors replied, the Great Mother. And they had science to go along with these personifications, just like science personify. We name different planets after Greek gods. Science and mythology are one and the same, but when you don't know that, they can rule you by the polarity. They can make you think they're not the same and that the scientist really has the answers when really he's just another pastor giving you belief again. So what is the science? The ancients had it that there is a creator on the inside of you and on the outside of you. There's a creator that's making a heartbeat on the inside of your chest and a creator that's stirring up the clouds in the sky on the outside of your day. This is called as above, so below, as within, so without. So there's a great mother in the ancient cosmos. And when you talk about heliocentrism and you ask the question, where is this creator of this creation? They tell you the outside of the universe, but then they tell you there's no outside, so there's no creator. You are all atheists. You deny the fact that there's something responsible for this creation we see. But when you look at this model in front of you, it's a great explanation, and a scientific one as well as a mythological one that speaks to the soul. And it closes us, and when asked the question, where is the creator? And you say on the outside of the cosmos, well, we can see here where the outside of the cosmos would be. And it's just as an inversion, again, outside in, inside out. And this is called the great waters above. So you notice that when you enter beyond the night sky, you reach the waters. And those waters are symbolic of the waters of your mother's womb. So the waters above and waters below symbolizes death and rebirth, and you coming in and off of this earth plane by being baptized in the waters of your mother's pregnant belly, which is represented by Nut. She's the arch of a belly, and Geb would be the baby inside of it, the life inside of her pregnant womb. The earth is a pregnant womb that is a place to give birth to your spirit over and over again and unify the flesh with the soul. This is why ancient cosmology don't separate spirituality from cosmology. This is why your spiritual journey can be seen in this Egyptian cosmos. So today, the science that you get today gives you a black universe which has no edge, so it's a void with a bunch of objects with no foundations and nothing that started their trajectories. So at any given moment, they can clash into each other. This is how they are able to rule us with cataclysm talk. They're able to give you pictures like this of Nibiru and say Nibiru is returning to destroy you. And every time this event happens, the world go crazy. And we keep repeating ourselves like a broken record. And they keep closing the book of Revelation, reopening the book of Genesis after the reset period. Right now, we're in the 7-year grace or tribulation period where the clock stops. This is the time where there's going to be much turmoil because the most questions and challenges that the heliocentric model ever faced will take place during the next 7 to 10 years. These people with all of these questions that they are not prepared to answer will be attacked. We are a threat. We're the modern Christ, proclaiming the real knowledge of the heavens. And we're going to be called the Antichrist because we're really the anti-pope, anti-New World Order. The real Christ is returning in the heavens like I just explained. And it's simply Leo and the sun. So it's not Nibiru surrounded by its Anunnaki spaceships coming to, and the people who believe in Nibiru and the Anunnaki spaceship rhetoric, they also tell you that this is their rapture. They tell you that Nibiru is coming to take them up into its spaceship and leave behind the people who weren't chosen. This is a big famous doctrine in a lot of Kemetic community and stuff like that. But I'm telling you that this was not the doctrine of our Kemetic ancestors. Our Kemetic ancestors knew all the time that this alignment would come. They prepared for it, and like I said, a great tomb is aligned with Venus during this time, symbolizing the rebirth of the king or the coming back of Jesus. All of these stories are the same thing. So the people who don't accept the Jesus story, they fall victim to the Nibiru spaceship story, which is the same concept of a rapture that you leaving on a spaceship, and that when it comes at the same time it raptures you on your spaceship, that it's going to destroy the other people who, you know, who didn't fit your crowd, who weren't part of the club. It's going to destroy them and take its chosen ones. And on the other hand, the Christians are saying the same thing. Instead of a spaceship, instead of a mothership surrounded by other spaceships coming to destroy the earth and rapture its chosen, they give you Jesus surrounded by its angels coming to cause cataclysm and take its chosen. But every time this stuff happens, it's simply the same alignment. And we see that the people who thinking they finna go up in the sky, they but still here talking about it's gonna pick me up this time. It didn't end last time. And when will they learn to stop saying the world gonna end? The only thing is ending is the deception. Earth ain't going nowhere, it's stable. Nud and Geb show you that you are enclosed and protected. Our Egyptian ancestors didn't have a concept of doomsday and cataclysm. We do today because that's a new world order concept. They had to alienate you from nature and make you trust man more than nature. Therefore, they can destroy nature and you stand by, do nothing. They can poison you, your children, and you think it's normal. You think we're living in civilization. Civilization ended when the New World Order started. We are going back to civilization after this 7-year period. We're transitioning back to civilization that we left from during the beginning of the New World Order, or rise of Narmer, Menes. These people misinterpreted the cosmology in front of you, and they told you that that sun above Shu is our sun, when really it's Aldebaran, or what's called Nibiru. And it's an ancient flat earth map that shows that sun. We're going to see it in this alignment. If we see this sun sometimes, this sun is not planet X. This sun is actually part of a star system that's neighbored to us, where there's a whole nother set of continents that they're not telling us about. And the people who hid that land and those people are what's called a space program. So they've been controlling space, and there are people on other continents who believe in globes and don't know we're separated by doctrines. We are looking in the sky seeing each other's suns, and they're not telling us we're in a binary sun system. They're telling you that that second sun is another planet far, 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 far away in their dumbass heliocentric cosmos. Excuse my profanity. That other star is our neighboring star. We have a sister or a brother societies. We have other people who don't know we exist, and we don't know they exist. And it's sad. You may have other family members. Some of you don't know how far back your DNA may go because they sold us with the out of Africa theory and the Pangea theory. Truth is, our lineage can be traced back to the earth itself, because the earth is made of DNA. This is the science they're hiding, that we're all connected to everything. We're made of the elements. Even the spirit is composed of matter. All things are woven together in this one realm. So flat earth ring map and this second sun that we see sometime, you can see here in this map, you can see in the middle would be us surrounded by Antarctica. They are the Lord of the Rings. They're the Lords of the Rings. For all of your life, you thought that this was all there was, these continents inside of here. but our earth has no known ends. This map shows you that at some point, even the ancestors knew that there was at least another ring of another star system. As you can see, this other ring have their own sun and moon and black hole. And this, if we think about this, could explain a lot of the phenomena that we see in our sky that can't be explained with the heliocentric model. A lot of alignments and a lot of celestial luminaries that we don't know what they are. What causes eclipses? Where you see two dark objects on this map. What is this second sun? Well, you saw two suns on that map. And you see that our sun appears to be yellowish, and the second sun appears to be bright reddish orange. That's known as Nibiru or Aldebaran. And they're very distinct. Our sun is yellowish and their sun is orangey, as you can see in this photo. So we are in a binary star system. In fact, if you look at an old movie, the first Star Wars, in the first Star Wars movie, they showed you this. Here's Luke Skywalker, and this was the famous binary sunset in this original Star Wars movie. They're telling you we live in a binary star system, and people don't know that they're speaking right above your head. And if you look at this igloo right here, it's shaped like Nut and Geb. You can see this line would be Geb, and the arch over them would be Nut. They speaking above your head. People watch this movie don't know that the elite watch it and laugh at us. They say they just don't get it. And then I flip back here, and we're here talking about Nibiru, when they're telling you we're in a binary star system, like the ancients said. And what's going to happen on the 23rd is, so we've been talking about this alignment. What's going to happen is that binary sun, excuse me, that second sun that I just showed you will be aligning with ours. That second moon and that second black hole, that's going to be aligning. This is the alignment that connects worlds. This is the time now where people are going to say, hey, why are there two suns in the sky? People who think about it, I just showed y'all, hold on a minute. Hold on just a minute. Y'all don't know how big the deception go. The Galactic Federation is real, but we're not in a galaxy. The galaxy mean gal-axis, the girl's axis, because everything revolves around the girl's axis or the center of the earth, which is a black hole or Ma'at, the tree of life. That's the galaxy, or everything spirals in a circle around the center, and this is how they give you the Milky Way, which is the galaxy or the gal's axis, which all of the celestial bodies revolve around her. If you can look at this map and look at this sun and moon systems, we're in a binary system. And if you think about what's going to happen on the 23rd, all of the luminaries as well as our parent star system will be aligned. So this alignment will unify the worlds. This will unite the worlds. This will unite us with our parent, our sister brother star system, which will make, think about it. Look at the other continents beyond our ring. If there are people inhabiting this land, you better believe that they have a government deceiving them, just like we're being deceived. Because if they don't, then they would be traveling over here saying, hey, why y'all don't come visit us? You can read ancient diaries where they used to visit people we don't visit today. A lot of the ancient ancestors said they used to take boat trips to go and visit the dwarf people and visit the giants. Why don't we visit them today? What if there are dwarf people and giants living on these surrounding continents beyond our ice ring, but they have their own government doing to them what's being done to us? So if there's giants or dwarfs or other people living on them other continents, they got their own giant and dwarf style government that's in a union with our government, and they all got space programs which literally controls the spaces we can travel to, because the Antarctic Treaty prevents us from going beyond that ring. And I'm sure if there's other people inhabiting those lands, there's a treaty preventing them from going inward or outward, exploring their rings. They got some kind of doctrine telling them that they're surrounded by polar caps when they go up and down on the globe. When really, if you were on, for example, there's a continent here called Hoppies. If you were on one of these continents that's beyond our ring, they can lie to you like you on a globe, because the globe on each end got an ice cap. And if you get in your boat and go up and reach an ice ring and go back and reach an ice ring, it'll feel like you on a globe with ice caps. And you can use the globe concept for the people beyond our ring and us too, because at the center of our earth is a black hole, but it's surrounded by an ice cap too. For example, here's the center of our earth here. There is an ice continent in the center of our earth too. But then you travel, there's dynamic lands at the center of the earth. There's continents, there's an ice, and there's a hole, a mountain. It's dynamic areas there, and there's a map where I can show you that, which is simply a map that just zooms in on the North Pole areas, an ancient map, and you will see they're lying to us about the North Pole. Matter of fact, let's do that. This ancient North Pole map, here we go. There are 4 continents there, and all of the world's oceans. We know, if you follow me, I'm doing this for new people who tune it in. We know that the oceans get their tides from the center of the earth, and that they're filtered from these 4 different river systems that go in all of the directions. We don't got to get into that, but just showing you, giving you a little geographics. So we go back to this ring map. What I want to show is the globe concept controls space. It tells us there's an end, there's a cap, we're bottled in. There's an ice cap below, an ice cap above us, and we're bottled in. We're trapped on a little blue ball, and we're capped in. They trapped us. They trapped us with the globe. And that's mighty strange, because just a year ago, NASA created, well, they said they found 7 new planets. Hold on, because the globe concept can work either way with us and the people on the outside of the ring. And each way, it can feel like we're trapped in by caps, if you see what I'm saying. But what I'm going to move on and show you how Nibiru tie into NASA's newfound planets. These newfound planets is like NASA's attempt to show you this alignment. And basically, Nibiru coming to Earth, this is an idea, I guess, that they was going to try to use to explain away this alignment. But I guess they had problems. And it's weird they call it TRAPPIST, because this system is a system. It's a bunch of CGI balls in the void of darkness that hide our true cosmology of Nut and Geb. So it's a TRAPPIST system. When you believe in it, you think you're trapped on a globe, and they're doing it to us, and they're doing it to the people beyond the ring. But the beauty of what's happening on the 23rd is all of us going to realize that we are in a binary sun system, just like the flat earth map that I put up. We're all going to realize this is real, because our sun is going to align with our brothers and sisters' sun beyond the ring, and they're going to be asking the same questions we ask. So the Antarctic Treaty is going to be, if you ask me, ending over this next 7-year, what they call tribulation period. But they always tell you it's going to be a storm before the rainbow. That's a coded way of saying we're going back to the Arch of the Covenant. The rainbow is the Arch of the Covenant that's represented by Nut. We're going back to our true cosmology that lets us know there are no cataclysms. All of this doomsday prophecy going to be exposed. And the veil is going to be lifted up over the next 10 years. We're in the revelation time. And in this time, it's going to be much turmoil because, like I said, these people ain't going to just let it go easily. So when this alignment happened, we're going to see all of the luminaries line up in the sky. Let me see if I can. So when they came, oh, that's what I put up. When they came with this TRAPPIST talk, I think that NASA was going to try to explain away this alignment, but they found out that they really ain't going to be able to do it. So you don't really hear them talking about it like that. Or they might just come back out on the 23rd and say, hey, what you're looking at is those 7 new planets we found. And you know globalists just going to believe everything they say. They showing you this alignment all in their CGI. As you can see in this picture here, it say astronomer 7 discover these 7 planets. But look how they got them aligned. They're trying to mimic this great alignment, y'all. It ain't going to be 7 new planets. It's going to be the same doggone planets we've been seeing. Y'all, they've been making a fool out of us. We've been looking at the same stuff, and just because they said, well, that's Nibiru with its planets, you going to believe it this time. Then when it all dissipate, you're going to go to calling them planets Mars and Venus again, instead of, Nibiru with its spaceships. They've been recreating this mythology and this doomsday thing, but it's never no doomsday. It's only us scaring ourselves, repeating ourselves, and the Bible tell you that no man gonna know the time. How do Christians know the time? Because they know it's a great alignment on this time. So the fact that the Christians can give you a specific date for Christ's return show you that it's all just the celestial event and not Jesus. Jesus ain't real. How can the Christians tell you when Christ is returning and they actually be accurate? They're not accurate, meaning that Jesus gonna actually come in the clouds, but the Christians are actually prophesying, telling you the truth that Jesus is coming in the sky, because the line of Judah is Leo and the sun is Jesus coming back. Leo and the sun coming with the angels. L and V are your angels surrounding the sun in the clouds. The sun is his crown, Leo. Jesus coming back, Leo, the line of Judah. And they telling you, the Christians are telling you when the line of Judah will return, when the sun will return. They're telling you that it's going to be the 23rd of September. And the fact that they can prophesy Jesus' return, but you don't actually see Jesus, prove that what is real is this celestial event, and what's fake is the dude with the blonde hair and the blue eyes. That's the religious indoctrination. So around this time, they're going to be scuffling to go ahead and create this one world religion and this new world order and go ahead and fulfill it. Because we're going to be asking more questions than we ever asked around this time. And they scared of these questions. They scared of these questions, y'all. It was the indoctrinations that made us not question. That's what stopped our quest of exposing these bastards. But now the quest gonna re-begin, because now the questions are reborn based on what's happening in the stars. All glory to the great mother. May Mother Nature be restored, even if it's at the expense of me giving my life. May balance be restored, meaning may we regain our relationship with nature and our trust. You see, because that trust is the covenant. That trust is nature saying, listen, I trust you humans if you trust me. And we don't have that trust with nature. For the past 7,000 years, we don't trust nature. We scared of nature. We're alienated to nature. We don't even go outside. We watch beautiful nature films on our HD TV. They're creating a synthetic nature by making you in fear of nature, by making you think Mother Nature is a wrathful thing that causes hurricane, when really it's them. They are Thor. It's a male that's controlling this weather. The world you've been living in the past 1,000 years been a matrix, and it's falling now. And like I said, you've been trapped in that matrix, and what you're looking at is the TRAPPIST system that they tried to re-give us. And as you can see here, they're giving you this alignment, y'all. They're giving you this alignment. So they may try to explain this away on a globe with some type model like this on the 23rd, because people going to be questioning this, and they may have to say, well, we told y'all we found the TRAPPIST planets. It cruised by on the 23rd, and then it looped around. They might try to explain it away like that. And what I mean when I say loop around, it's like an alignment that spins and it loop around. They tried to tell you that with Nibiru. Let me show you what I'm talking about. They said Nibiru and all of the bodies with it make a big old loop like this. But when you look up in the sky on the 23rd, that's what it's gonna look like. You're gonna see an arm of celestial bodies in alignment like you see here. And remember, this is not the full alignment. Above Leo is Draco. But you see how the sun is surrounded by the angles. But what I want to point out is when this alignment happen and it dissipate, it's gonna look like a similar to what they trying to show us, how Nibiru gonna swoosh around with its satellites. Okay, don't fall for the deception. So I think they may try to use this for their little TRAPPIST. You know, they got something they can fall back on if we get too out of hand debunking that globe with this phenomena. Now, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bodies that are participating in this TRAPPIST illusion. And let's see how many bodies does Nibiru have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'm starting to get it. 7. September, Septos. Everything is centered. It's like they're hypnotizing us with 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 16 years ago was September, Septos 11. And 7 goes with 11 on the dice. Those are the crap or the trap, I guess. I don't know. But 7, split even, see even. I know when this event happened, we're going to see even, or 7, see even, split even, severed. They call it Sirius star system. Sirius mean something that's severe. It's very severe or urgent. So 7 being severe or severe being linked to Sirius, and 7 TRAPPIST systems. I'm starting to put it all together. 7 candlesticks of the Jewish menorah. The month of September, the 7 days of creation, renewal, energy, the evenness of it all. So Nibiru having, I believe, 7 satellites. This TRAPPIST system having 7 bodies. And let's go back to hold up. I had a good alignment. Let me find it again. I had it just a minute ago. I think this is it. We had a good one. Because we're keeping that 7 in mind. I'm going to try to sync that to the actual event. We're looking for 7. We know it has to be more than 7, but I just want to see, with that being said, how would that relate? Okay, here we go. So what we have is So what is the objects in this? What do you know? Zeitgeist 777. Why the hell is so many sevens popping up? You know why? Because in the book of Revelation, that's all you see is sevens. The seven seals, the seven vials, the seven this. Seven is a cornerstone or an angle. It's symbolizing that we're not moving in a linear. If you think of the base of a pyramid, there are 4 sevens or 4 corners, and 4 sevens is 28, giving you 10. 10 is the root word of tent. 1 and 0 is the binary code or Nud and Geb. So 10 is a triangle number. You can't have the pyramid without you looking at your numbers as glyphs and numerical digits all at the same time to get the whole truth, nothing but the truth, the entire truth. So you look here and what we have, the moon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is something 8. I was going to go crazy if it was 7 celestial bodies that's at the forefront of this event. Again, this is just one specific area of the alignment. Draco should be above Leo, the head of the dragon, with the body of a lion, I think. And then the great whore that comes in the end. It start to make a lot of sense. Said his great whore was bathed with the sun, her head or something. Makes sense. So we're focusing on Leo and Virgo are the main 2 parts of this alignment. LV is Lucifer. Louis Vuitton. LV again is Elv. These are 2 important alphabets, L and V. And Leo and Virgo is the Madonna and Child. Okay? So Leo and Virgo is your Madonna and Child. And you see that the moon crest is the anchor at her foot, the footstool. So so we focus on these areas. And let me see something, guys, because I'm just kind of freestyling right now. I like this collage here because it's very it has Draco, it has everything. I don't know that's going to be visible in the sky, so it's going to be a lot of stuff. I think this one has a lot of information. Draco head does have, so the head of Draco has 7 stars, so I get it now. The 7 is very symbolic. You're going to have the dragon that comes, right? Because in Revelation they tell you the dragon come first. Then after the dragon causes mayhem, Jesus come. And if you look at this, Jesus would be Leo, everything from the head of this lion to the head of this woman, because the sun is still symbolic to Jesus with the crown on. He coming back in all of his glory. So Leo, the Lion of Judah, or Jesus, will be accompanied with the great whore, but his crown, right? She's bathed in the light of the sun. You got to understand that this is the Madonna. In Revelation, they curse this woman as a whore. Because remember, Mystery Babylon, the baby that comes from the loins of the woman. Babylon is also the babbling, which is the language of the baby. The Tower of Babel is the North Pole, which extends to the heavens. The tree of life, or the loins, in between the loins of the woman comes the baby from the loins. Babylon, Mystery Babylon. I just broke the mystery down to you, so it's no longer a mystery anymore, because Babylon, the baby, will be coming from the loins in the heavens, meaning that the tomb of the great king will be aligned with Venus, and the rebirth of the Pharaoh is him going through the feminine. Venus, which is the vein, the ventricle, the canal, the venue. So the same thing happens in Christianity when Leo comes accompanied with Virgo. There's going to be several alignments. You see where Leo is here. you have Venus accompanying Leo. So where you have the same thing that you see in Kemet and Christian mythology here, but it's all just this celestial event. So you have the great king aligning his rebirth from his tomb with Venus, because the tomb is just the womb. And emerging from the tomb is rebirth or resurrection. This is why Leo is accompanied with Venus and the Virgo, which is the virgin. This is a virgin birth story. All right. And you can see the same thing in Kemet with the pharaoh. So like I said, everybody told this same story, and they actually built a temple on each continent to align with this celestial event. That's why it's going to be so hard for them to prove the globe after this. This thing been happening, but it wasn't a lot of flat earthers around making these observations, saying, hey, how can all of these temples be aligned if we on a globe? The flat earth movement has fairly been reinvented, renewed. And you can see why the timing of revelation coincides with the time of the flat earth awakening, because the flat earth literally can be translated to naked truth. Flat is plain, is naked. Earth is the truth we all can't deny. Flat earth equals naked truth. It strips your reality down to what it really is and how you perceive it. You never felt the ground moving. It always looked up and saw the stars moving. And damn it, that's nature's gonna prove to you that your senses ain't lying. Why? Because they are God-given senses. When you ignore those senses, nothing makes sense. And that's what's been going on, a senseless world for the past 7,000 years, because it's not civilized. It's just order out of chaos, new world order. That system is ending now. So now when we go back to our senses that was given to us by the Most High, we realize how much sense it didn't make, but we was indoctrinated. We didn't know better. Everyone's telling this same story of the return of the Messiah or the rebirth of the Pharaoh. And it's been happening over and over again. And there's been generation after generation for the past 7,000 years saying the world gonna end, the world gonna end, the world gonna end. But prior to the dynastic era, people always knew that the world ain't gonna end. The world is ending because you were thrown into the new world. The real world can never end. It's infinite. It was the world that was hidden from you with the Matrix. That's the world that's ending. That's why that world ending is spoken of with a lot of turmoil. But in the ancient world, when this alignment happened, there was no talk of doomsday. There was talk of recreation, rebirth. So why is a celestial event that I clearly just synced to you is the whole talk about the Messiah and rebirth? And it shows you how the symbol 8 tied into all of this of infinity. Why is this celestial event that everyone always knew about and predicted and so-called prophesied about, and we're still doing it today? How is now it's going to end the world when people was doing the same thing for hundreds of thousands of years before us, and they was talking about the same event as just simply you renewing yourself? And I can prove it to you right now. So at this time, what I'm sharing on the screen is a small little picture of another culture calls this time Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah. And it's from Friday to September 22nd. And this was put out to the people who participate in Rosh Hashanah. And if you translate Rosh Hashanah, it can be translated into Ashtaroth. Ashtaroth is Isis or Astarte. These are primordial goddesses. Okay? So Rosh Hashanah is Ashtaroth. And I'll be getting into a lot of these videos. You don't worry. I got you. I'm not going to leave no stone unturned. So if you look at here, it begins Wednesday, September 20th, and it ends September 22, because It's a 3-day event, and it ends that night at 12 o'clock or the 23rd. That's when Jesus come up out of the tomb on the 3rd day. So I hope y'all see how this 3-day event and how people, I hope y'all see. So while we over here talking about Nibiru and the world ending, people putting out flyers talking about let's celebrate. So it's two different stories being told, but the mainstream news is only telling you about the Nibiru cataclysm. And they mocking it, but they actually plant a seed that, hey, the world can end and some gonna crash into earth, and opening up the door for the government to make great disasters happen with weather warfare to kill us by using a perfect, beautiful event that the ancestors always knew about, but to use it to actually make it rain fire from the sky with blue beam technology, cloaking military planes behind this alignment. If they want to make this be Nibiru causing cataclysm to earth, they can do it, y'all. They can do it. All right, I just showed you the models they got with Nibiru with its 7 satellites and the TRAPPIST system with its 7 satellites. Y'all, they're giving you this same alignment like we're going to see it in the sky like the Christians and everybody else got in their mythology. You can draw it out in your own way. It's just the same different explanations for one celestial event. They can fake cataclysms and kill a lot of us, y'all, even though ain't nothing gonna happen but balance, a beautiful event. But what they can do, all right, with their fakery and technology is wait till the alignment happen and then just fly and start flying their planes over everybody's city, dropping down bombs and stuff, different weapons that they've been making to kind of mimic some kind of alien bombs or planetary bodies clashing into Earth or a meteor shower. They can fake it. With blue beam technology and by us not paying no attention to this beautiful alignment the past hundreds of years, see, a lot of us gonna go outside and be looking up today because for so long this alignment happened, we weren't paying attention to it. They was call it, for the people who was pointing it out was a small crowd, and to them they was just saying, hey y'all, that's Nibiru with all of his motherships and it's swooping around. And they'll tell us, hey, it missed us again. I don't know if you've been following the Nibiru stories, but I've always heard stories about the world ending and Nibiru coming. And what happens during this time is this great alignment. If I had known that, I would have been going outside and, looking at it. But during this time, what they do is control the media, get us caught up in a bunch of Nibiru talk. In 2012, they made a video and we was in the movies looking at the Inner World movie while they was looking at the alignment. They stopped us from looking up and got us looking at their propaganda. So for all these years this event been happening, you ain't been looking up at it, because every time it happened, the people who really look at it, they lying to them, telling them it's Nibiru passing us. And the people who not looking at it, just going by news media stories saying, hey, the world gonna end again this time, and is it really gonna end? While we talking about that, they going out there doing rituals, looking at the stars. They up in these ancient temples that's being aligned with this event, sucking up the energy. Got y'all talking about it's the world gonna end, but not anymore. Not anymore. All right. But what I'm saying is they can use this alignment to strike and attack us. And since we don't know about the beauty of this event, we'll think nature doing it to us when nature just showing us her perfection like she's always done. But since we don't know that, and the divine feminine has been oppressed the past 7,000 years, they can use this to plan their final attack to bring about their new world order. Go ahead, finish the workings of their new world order. They can use this perfect event from nature, which is supposed to unify everybody and bring us all together, and they can use it to attack us and unify us under their new world order. So they simply hijacking nature. This is an event that connected us to the people beyond the ice ring. Because during this time, let me go back to my ring map. The Lords of the Ring separated us from our brothers and sisters beyond the ring. And they got them believing in Doomsday. They got us believing in Doomsday. And that we're trapped on a blue ball. But really, our ancestors said that they were going to visit people beyond these rings. You read diaries of the ancestors today, and they said they visited other people. And when they start saying where they went to go visit them at, it don't make sense on the globe. And what they have been telling us is that this is just a myth. The ancestors are telling you about places they went to when the earth was one, or when the earth was Pangea, or certain cities that sunk. There are sunken cities, but that's another phenomena that's separate than what I'm telling you here. There are also hidden cities. And there's a lot of sunken cities, if you ask me, because I think they've been manipulating weather for longer than we think. I can trace geoengineering back to the 1800s. And a lot of sunken cities can be places that's not even that old that was hit with geoengineering. Think about it. Years from now, when Houston is no longer on a map, because I don't know if y'all know, but the entire city is underwater. They're going to have to redraw what America looked like now. I don't know if y'all know that. It's a time of revelation, of great cataclysms, of record-breaking storms. Not because they prophesied it in the Bible, but because the people who made the Bible controlling the weather, and they making the record-breaking storms. So it all makes sense. And we talk about sunken cities. 100 years from now, people will be talking about Houston like Atlantis. They'll be talking about New Orleans, how we talk about the sunken lost city of Atlantis. But this planetary alignment that's taking place on the 23rd, you can see in this ring map, it's going to connect the worlds. It's going to connect our earth and land to our brothers and sisters beyond the ring. And the Antarctic Treaty is a bunch of nations that's around the perimeter of this ring, stopping us from exploring. We never thought to question it because we didn't ask the question in our heart and soul that would start the physical quest. So now we're asking questions about Antarctica. People out there today gonna want to know what's up with this treaty and what's beyond that ring, and what's up with this second sun we keep seeing that y'all calling Nibiru. Because during this alignment, we're gonna see that second sun. We're gonna see it. And we're gonna see all of the luminaries. And basically what I want to say is, just like we asking questions about this, the people on them other continents going to be doing it. So power in numbers, all of the military is going to be under their biggest threat ever, because they look at us like zombies and we're asleep. A zombie ain't a threat when he's asleep. But when all of these zombies wake up on the 23rd and start asking us questions about this alignment, because we're looking into a whole nother star system on the 23rd. And the people over on that side of the ice ring, how they're going to see this phenomena in their sky, they're going to see our sun and we're going to see theirs. And the governments over there going to be telling them that's Nibiru. And our government going to be telling them that other sun over there, that's Nibiru. But this is what the ancients saw to let us know that, hey, our brothers and sisters over there, when this alignment happened, just like we travel across the earth plane to go and meet up with our brothers and sisters in them lands across the ice ring in the ancient day, the celestial bodies travel to celestial plane, and every now and then they meet up and all of the worlds unite. So the sun and moon and all of these systems, just think, if there's other rings beyond the second ring and there's a trinary sun system with another moon, it's going to be participating in this alignment as well. So this is very powerful stuff that connects all of the star systems. It connects our star system to their star system. And this proves that we are in a binary star system, but they are able to hide that with the heliocentric cosmos. They are able to hide that with the Nibiru instead of telling you that's just the second sun beyond the ring. And if they tell you that, you're going to be like, what? A second sun beyond Antarctica? You can go beyond there and it's more stuff? Yes, you're not trapped on the globe. They telling you the only way to travel beyond to new areas is to fly off of the globe, which means you can't go nowhere because they the only ones with the rockets. Now we're about to see that the earth has no recorded ends and they've been hiding land, and that's the meaning of the space programs. It's a big intricate conspiracy, but it's far from a theory. So all of these people that's been indoctrinated across this plane and all of these star systems gonna be asking the same questions to all of their governments, and the Galactic Federation will be ending. If you know anything about the Galactic Federation, it's a concept that say there's a one world government for the entire heliocentric cosmos, where the United Nations ain't just the continents you know about. It's the continents beyond the ring too. It's the continents that may exist in a third or fourth ring, all part of the United Nations to hide all of this land. And everybody's little ring, they telling us we're on a ball that have an ice lid up top and up bottom capping us in so we can't go nowhere. They controlling space with these space programs. You're not on a ball capped in with ice caps. You're on an infinite plane, which is like a ripple effect, and the ice is just barriers to separate the worlds. And I think it's beautiful. When you throw a rock in the water, you get this same ripple effect. So it's as above, so below. When the cosmos was created, it was a ring effect. And they give you this same thing with Plato's Atlantis right here. You see? So Maze Runner with these great walls and all of that separate the worlds, the lords of the rings. It's that everyone, a world should be spelled W-H-I-R-L-L. They threw you off, y'all. The orbit of these celestial bodies is a circuit. And it can be looked at as a cyclone or a tornado. It spins around, it rotates and also revolves, kind of like how they tell you with the earth. If you spin, remember those old tops that shaped like a triangle, and we would spin the top, and the top would spin, but also it would rotate. I'm going to see if I can find it for you. This is very important. It's made like a tornado. And what happens when you spin it is while it's spinning, it's also going in a circle. So it's doing two things. It's spinning. So it's spinning and rotating. I hope I'm getting it right. Yeah. So it's spinning around while also rotating on an axis. And I brought that up just to say that that's what we're in. The North Pole in the center of our Earth would be the pole that you see here. And the Earth is not spinning. It's simply the atmosphere being stirred up. This is why the Mother Goddess is also called a witch. That's stirring a brew pot. She's stirring up the atmosphere. She's stirring up the sun and the moon, making a perfect circuit in her witch pot. The witch brew pot, right? And she's stirring these luminaries, and occasionally there's an alignment that show you she know what she doing and it ain't just chaos. All right, there's a pattern like you saw with the spinning top. It's a cyclonic carousel pattern. It's a 360 spiral pattern where we get the number 9 from, which is a symbol of a spiral where it shows you after 9, everything repeat and start over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then you go back to 1 again because 10, you just repeating. 9 symbolizes, a cycle. A cycle is a circuit. Cycle, circuit. And there's a duat. The ground don't move, but the celestial luminaries do. And they move like I just showed you with that bottle top. And I lost my thought. Bear with me. You see, this all can be explained better than we can on a globe. But basically what I want to say, it's a ripple effect. And if you go to the ocean, if you think of stirring up water, you get a cyclone, what I'm trying to say. You get a ripple effect, a hurricane. When you stir up the water. So if you think of water as air, and if there were items inside of this cup, then when you stir the water, the items that's inside of the cup will travel in a cyclonic pattern around the cyclone at the center, which is the North Pole in our case. So if you had objects in this cup, they would be on a circuit around that center pole or that cyclone. And you need to look at our cosmos the same way. We're not submerged in water, we're submerged in air. And that air is being stirred by the Most High. And there are objects inside of this container that's being stirred so they move with the atmosphere in the circuit around the North Pole. And again, the North Pole can be the center of this cup, like you see with that cyclone, would be the North Pole. And the air would be the water around the pole. Remember that the cyclone is not water. It splits the water with air. Just like our North Pole splits our Earth with magnetism, which is the anti-physical. It's a magnetic type element that I think exists there. They're not telling us about a cyclonic element, because if you put items inside of this cup, they would be attracted to this cyclone, just like all the compasses are attracted and pointed to the center of the earth. So what's at the North Pole is something very special, and I think it's where everything meets everything. And if the creator could be bottled up as a substance and scooped up in a tablespoon, maybe we see the darkness in space as black goo at the North Pole. Maybe the night sky extends. I don't want to lose you. Let me show you what I'm talking about. That cyclone you see, let's do a double cyclone. Maybe the darkness we see in the night sky, maybe the darkness we see in the night sky, which would be, all right, think of the ground of the earth as the bottom of this cup, and think of the North Pole as this cyclone in the middle, and think of the night sky as the final barrier at the top, right, the lid. So what if, think about at the top of the top here, you have air. That air travels down the middle of this cup and cause a cyclone that breaks the water. In other words, it splits the Red Sea. It's air that splits the water from top to bottom, and you actually have a place inside of this cup that's filling the water from the inside up, and also it's surrounded by water. So air would be outside in, inside out, ether or aerospace surrounds us and fills us. But what I want to point out is the North Pole would be this cyclone, and the luminaries would be like the bubbles you see. And these bubbles gonna follow the path of that cyclone. As it spins, it's gonna spin those bubbles around too. And if you drop a object in there, it's gonna spin that too. And it's gonna follow the spinning of this center cyclone. But what if what happens at the North Pole, what if the night sky actually falls? Now, you know how they tell us the sky gonna fall? What if just like we see in this cup where you have air at the top, but that air falls, the air falls and it splits this cup. It splits the water in this cup. But the air, it starts at the top. So what if our night sky is like this air that caps us in or nook? And what if at the North Pole, the darkness of the sky actually falls down to earth and split the daytime? So what if you go to the North Pole and see a huge dark mountain of just darkness that it spans all the way up to the sky like a tree, and it's actually feeding the darkness we see in the sky, renewing itself to the center of the earth. You know, there's a hole at the North Pole that they say is a black hole in the center of the earth. And what if that darkness is just like this cyclone, and that darkness is being fed from the top of the night sky, and at the North Pole it comes down and goes into the earth and go back out, making the number 8 and keep recycling itself. You see what I'm saying? What if that darkness behind the luminaries is literally an element that they're not telling us about? Odd TV got a movie series, a video playlist called a Black Goo series. They've been teaching us about black goo for so long, and it's a nanotype, nanoparticles. Well, this blackness behind the stars has been linked to the Akashic records. Remember, we access all memories through the darkness, and this is linked to our Akashic records. So what if this black goo or nanotechnology is a real element that we didn't create, but the foundation of all creations? What if this literally is, the creator is literally the Akashic records, and we're looking up at that when we see the darkness behind the stars? The infinite memory projecting everything it remembers down here to us in the form of light and color, and then you get to the ground and you enter darkness again, the womb of the earth. So we're sandwiched in between darkness, and we are the memory of the darkness, or the thoughts of that darkness. And what we perceive as past, present, and future is just memory or RAM. I don't know how the computer terms, but you know what I'm talking about. The only way they can make these computers and technologies by studying these phenomena that I'm telling you about. They study in dark matter, dark energy. What are they talking about? You are a flat earther. You know space isn't real. So when they talking about they studying dark matter, dark energy, what are they studying? They're studying an element that's dark, which means it's also unknown. It's X. Remember, planet X is unknown. It's something they're hiding from us, just like this alignment. So what happens in this cup is when all of the bubbles and elements align, it appears to be stillness for a split second. But on another note, keep that tree of life concept in mind, that the roots of the tree may be connected to the top, just like the cyclone here. Put this on our earth scale. The night sky, the darkness you see behind the stars, may be an element that they're not telling us about, that gave birth to all of the elements. Think of the word El laments, and think of the deity El, which symbolizes this concept of this glass. Well, let me show you a picture of El so you don't be confused. He represents things surrounded by a pole. Let me show you. You see L is the North Pole, and that ring around him can be seen as the Antarctic ice ring I showed you in the flat Earth map, and the barrier where our star system ends. Meaning, no, I said the wrong thing. I'm thinking about two different things. Let me refresh myself. Think of him as a simple pole and another pole intersected like a plus sign. And think of this concept like I showed you with that cup. X marks the spot to the North Pole where this is where the movement of this circuit is being created. And you see it's a guy there where back during this time they was telling you he's the one spinning the sun and moon. You see in his ring is the zodiac if you look real closely, and this is what's being spun. So they're giving you flat earth cosmology in the form of Saturn or the god El that created the elements. So this god El is the primordial, this is a patriarchal deity, by the way. And when you say the aeon, the word aeon is the ether or the air. What we call air is atmosphere or aerospace, air. The ether or the ether is simply the atmosphere, the medium that we are all immersed in. That medium is being stirred up from the North Pole by something intelligent. And when it stirs our atmosphere, it creates this circuit of the sun and moon and all of the bodies. And occasionally, and there's an alignment. And that's the creator's way of telling you that, hey, remember the covenant. Remember that I'm stirring this and I know what I'm doing, and you don't need to have no fear. So the arch of the covenant is really the arc of the covenant. You see, he makes a triangle when you deal with sacred geometry and you draw your points. This would make a house. You would draw a line from the edge to the left to his head. You would draw a line here and then go down. That would make a house, or a capital A for arch. And this is the covenant, which is balance, which became the planet Saturn, okay, which is really us surrounded by an ice ring, and the yin yang, the symbol of balance, as above, so below. The way the cosmos shapes is the way you behave upon it. Every physical thing has a spiritual concept and an action that coincides with it. So when you look at the physical cosmos, it's shaped just like balance, or ball lanced balance. When you take a ball and lance it at the center, you create the yin yang, and we come to life this way when the sperm lances the egg. It's a binary code. It's a continuum of fractal reality. Most of the world will be coming hip to this reality come the 23rd. There's going to be a big awakening. Alchemy means alchemy, dealing with this god El right here, which is again just the angle. When you say angel, it ends in El, angel. When you say angel, you're saying Ankh El. Remember, the Ankh is the anchor and the El is the angle. This is sacred geometry. So ankle, you have one at the bottom of your foot. You say you have an ankle, and what does it shape like? An L, an Ankh L, because when you look at the symbol called an Ankh, you can't make it without the L's. And if you look at his arms, they're giving you two L's. They're making L's. All right. Now I could get into this L concept deep if y'all want. I can make an entire video on L and Saturn and the angle. So if you want that, take a note in your notebook and remind me, and I will do it and give you a shout out and make it very thorough, because I can obviously take this stuff. There's so much to teach. So basically, balance is what we're going to see. Occasionally there's an alignment, there's a portal which links us to the source that's spinning this. We see the face of the Most High when this alignment happens, but the Most High don't have a literal face. So what would we say when we see the face, or what we say when Jesus is going to return and every knee shall bow and everybody going to look at the face of the Most High? What you going to see is that the face of the Most High is perfection. You're going to see a great alignment that's going to remind everybody on earth that the one who stirs the celestial luminaries from the North Pole has it under control. Otherwise, I wouldn't be showing you this alignment and keep reoccurring it, okay, and showing you that, hey, reminding you of this covenant. Because the one who's stirring this atmosphere from the North Pole, creating a circuit of these celestial luminaries that will be aligning on the 23rd, is also symbolic to the arch Nut in Kemetic cosmology. She's dark. And when we talk about the North Pole, we are really talking about the North Hole as well. The hole is the pole. So there's a pole of magnetism that's being emitted from a dark hole or a black hole. Nothing can escape it. This is what they tell you in heliocentrism. You get sucked into the black hole, because when we go back to darkness upon death, we become back one to that darkness that's at the center of the earth and enclosing the earth. There's darkness all around the cosmos, and it splits the cosmos in the center, just like L splitting the circle there at the center. And just like I showed you previously with this glass splitting the entire cosmos at the center. But the same air that splits this cosmos at the center comes from above it. And if there was no bottom of this glass, then there would be like a figure 8 where it would be refeeding itself over and over. So when I talk about the night sky splitting the earth in the center, what if they're hiding that? What if when you get, the closer you get to the center of the earth, the darker it gets, and you get to this big just tower of night sky with no stars? Or maybe there's stars that are going inside of the North Pole, because I'm talking about everything brown in this glass is our atmosphere, and the earth circle would be at the base of this cup. And you look up at the night sky, and what makes the North Pole is actually that darkness behind the stars, splitting the earth in the center. So this darkness is a physical element as well as a spiritual one. So it ties together the physical with the spiritual, string theory. So when you die and go back to this darkness, you literally go back to a physical or spiritual source element that you made out of. It's literally the foundation of what you're emanating from, or what makes you, is darkness. And so if you think of this cup, and everywhere air is in this cup is darkness, then it makes sense that the bubbles would be the luminaries, and every now and then you can see the darkness during the eclipse, because they are essentially that dark air or ether, or this darkness, this tree of life. All right, think about it. Upon death, what if we become back one with it, and we're magnetically pulled to the North Pole, and then what happens is we implode. We implode, and we create another light switch within that darkness, and that's how we end back up in the womb of another mother. You see? It's another genesis, or genes, genetics, back to darkness, and then let there be light. It's a dance that keeps going. You see? So you close your eyes upon death and actually become one back to, the centering primordial source that's stabilizing the cosmos and stirring the pot. And that's represented by a womb, because that's all we ever see as a representation of this force that's clearly creating movement from the center of the earth. There's clearly some magnetism there. But how do you see the face of God? By seeing the perfection of the one who's causing that movement. Gravity is an explanation of the movement of our cosmos, but it don't explain the perfection that we see. And the stability of these reoccurring alignments goes against gravity and the universe that's just going, recklessly. These are the same bodies and alignments that's always been aligning. Like I went over to you previously, why it's so important. I won't do that again. But what I'll say is, to see the face of God during this time is to see the perfection of creation, to know that the things they rule over us, how they rule over us is by interpreting the heavens to us as something to fear. So we look up at the stars and all of the luminaries, and despite them being so beautiful, we worry if one day they might crash into us. We worry if one day, Nibiru or that one that's twinkling over there may come too close, or the one that's turning and twinkling over there may clash into that one. And when we do that, it's a form of blasphemy. It's like a baby in the womb of its mother don't question if her belly is going to be destroyed. No different than you questioning if your house gonna fall in upon you. So why would we do it to the Creator? Because we've been conditioned to misinterpret the perfection of Creator with doctrines that makes you ignore what you're seeing. Sin is a sense that was given to you by the Most High, and you can't connect with the Most High if you ignore your sense of sight. The Most High gave you seeing, touch, smell to interact with creation, therefore interact with the Creator. You speak to the Creator by using your senses, and it speaks back to you. But when someone is telling you your senses is wrong and they're fooling you, you're actually spinning, but you just don't feel it, and they pull out math and a bunch of paper, it's wrong. I'll put it this way. Anything can be proven on paper, but we don't live inside of a notebook, okay? We live in a beautiful, perfect cosmos, and that's going to be proven on the 23rd when you see the perfection of the Most High with this alignment. And like I was saying earlier, when you close your eyes, you go to the darkness, you implode, and you cut the light on in the darkness again, and you will yourself back into creation. Law of attraction. I went into that in the previous video. I ain't going to be redundant. But what I'm going to do at this time is move forward to a different phase of this video. And I don't know how long I'm going to keep going, but so much to show. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and end this one right now. I don't want too much on one film because the last one was 5 hours. And I'm going to have to chop up that 5 hours and take it to be maybe 2 hours a piece, because people don't like long videos. So let me stop here. I'm at the 3 hour mark, and then I'll crank up another stream so that we can make this stuff digestible. And I know I haven't been interacting with you guys in the chat. I want to say forgive me. It's just because I have so much information for you that I have no time to talk to you. I'm going to say I have so much information for you that I have no time to talk with you. At this time, I'm only able to talk to you. And I hope that you're actually bringing your notebooks and you're taking notes, and that you're going to give me something to challenge me and talk to me. And I can't wait to open up a panel and just have a regular broadcast where we just listen. I'm trying to hurry up and give us all the information about this so we can get it in us, and so it can free us from any fears. And then we're going to stop talking about all of this. We don't want to stay on one thing too long. Now, after I finish all of this, people who following me, we're going to go into just building we're going to go into love, laughter. We're going to start doing the opposite of what they want done at this time. We know what's going on. We know how to combat it. And it's about building stuff with each other that can't be destroyed, such as relationships. People you bond with you take them with you all throughout eternity, because a memory never ceased to exist. Now, I'm going to let y'all go today. And with that being said, when I finish all of this teaching with this September 23rd, I'm going to actually do some bonding panels. We're going to just talk about whatever we want to talk about, okay? And just get to know each other a lot more, because I do love y'all. And let me let you go ahead and get up out of here. I'll see you in a few hours. Stay tuned. Make sure you continue to follow me. Peace and much love.